Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in the bunker. Purple State Party, you know how we do this. You know what we're repping here. Man, America, the center, common sense, and especially things that go bang. Hell of a week, man. Hell of a week. Really, I think one of the articles coming up on sums it up because they give Mr. Biden, you can see him. Yeah, I'm always screwing that up because I'm not really good at it's up there somewhere. Got a new sticker of there, right there. I can't do it, man. I'm no good in reverse images. I should just flip my camera around, shouldn't I? Yeah, I'm always forgetting to do that. I'm afraid it'll screw up the recording. Anyhow, boom. Let's start the show here. This is one of my own right here, man. Just something I thought of. Fixing history doesn't change the present. It just makes weak people feel powerful without having to do the hard work. And that's what we're seeing. We're going to see some of that this week. You probably know what I'm talking about. But you see that kind of stuff, man, where people just want to badmouth the flag. They want to badmouth historical figures. They want to tear down statues. You know, they want to riot. They want to loot. They want to protest. But then when it comes time to do the actual work, nobody wants to do it, man. We have become placated by politicians who simply throw money at a problem or do some illusionary bandage over the problem, you know. I mean, Gavin's opening up, you know, California to all the homeless of the world. He wants everybody in California to have the California dream, and he wants to pay for it. And that's totally off of this point, but it's a Band-Aid because, again, he's not fixing the problem. He's not addressing the drug addiction, the mental illness problems, the combination of the two. You know, he's not dealing with the crime. He's not dealing with the filth, the fear, any of that. No, he's just going to start a bunch of commissions, pay people some really good salaries, and they're going to sit around and hem and haw about what to do. But then they're never going to do what really needs to be done. They're not going to get out there and start locking people up and forcing them to make choices. Okay? They want this to be a nanny state. They want this to be a nanny government, but they're not going to have a firm hand. They're not going to be super nanny. They're going to be super wimpy. Super wimpy. So one of the things we saw here this week was the Cleveland Indians are now the Cleveland Guardians. It should appeal to the kids because it looks like the baseball is now wearing some funky new headphone design, you know. But it's stupid. Okay, great. You know, at the end of the day, it's not about activism. It's about capitalism. Okay? They're going to sell more jerseys now because all the fans that buy into this shit are going to have to get the new logo. Because they're not the Cleveland Indians. It's not a redesign. The old design is now going to be labeled as taboo. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even allow. Wouldn't be surprised if they don't allow you to not wear that stuff there. Well, spit it out, you smooth talking son of a bitch. I'm a little amped up because I love the Chief Wahoo logo, man. And to me, I've always thought of sports teams being named Indians, Braves, you know, Apaches, whatever. You know, it kept the memory of those people alive in the general conscious instead of just forgetting about them, leaving them out on the reservations, you know, where they have horrible problems. Alcoholism, drug abuse, violence. You know, it's very hard to get off that reservation for a lot of young people. Yeah, you see the casinos, and there's people who get money from that. But again, just like every other handout, man, it's just, you know, it's like excusing slavery by saying, hey, well, at least they had food and board. And what more did you need back then, you know, in the 1600s? What more did you need? You needed food, water, and shelter. Everything else either didn't exist or was a luxury to just about everybody. But, you know, they like this because it makes it look like they're doing something. It looks like they're making a change for good when really all they're doing is just bowing to pressure from people who probably aren't even fans. You know? Bored white women out there who just start some sort of campaign and then they take advantage of it because all they're going to do now is sell more uniforms, get free publicity. But what does it change? It changes nothing. And I would actually say it's even worse because it makes you forget about the Native Americans. You know, the environmental Green Deal people, man. Look what they're about to do to an Indian reservation. They're going to pollute the water. 38,000 gallons of water an hour or something like that. They're just going to be polluting it as they use sulfuric acid to leach out the lithium that they need for these damn car batteries. You know, we're going to get to those a little bit later. You know? But it's just all fakery. And the king of the fakes is, you know, by far Gavin Newsom. You know, he's somebody that Soros and the Democrats are priming to be a president. This guy can't even fucking run a lemonade stand, man. You can't mask bad policies. Larry Elder announced that he's running for governor along with everybody else in the state. But there was some things about his tax records that they had to fight in court, and he won. So he wins the fight to enter the recall race. You know, right now he appears to be one of the leading candidates, at least on the anti-Newsom side. But I don't understand how anybody could be pro-Newsom. I don't understand. I look at this list, and including undecided, I think all of those people can do a better job of running California than Gavin Newsom. Because Gavin Newsom is just a slave to the Democratic Party. He's a slave to people who are so rich that none of this shit matters. But again, these are the same people who are pushing for a green energy that is going to just decimate the environment. I don't think people realize how bad it is. They are going to pollute the shit out of Nevada just to make 1 million batteries. And that's not even, I mean, there's way more than 1 million cars in America, folks. You know, they are going to mess up the environment, man. And this is one of those things. You know, we won't realize it until it's too late. But one reason that I have a deep hatred right now for the left is because of this, something like this. Have you ever heard USA, USA at a Democrat rally? Neither have I. Look, I mean, we don't need a party that's anti-American. They could say whatever they want, but that's what their base is. They want to say that Trump's base was a bunch of white supremacists. Well, their base is a bunch of un-American, anti-American, communist, socialist scum. It's really easy to preach socialism when mommy and daddy are buying everything for you. And that's the people that the Democrats are going after. You know? That's who they're going after. They're going after the young and the dumb. They're turning them into unpatriotic people. Mean, vicious people. People who just want to cancel. People who are placated by the Cleveland Indians changing their goddamn name. They don't care. They live in a dream world, man. At the end of this show, Thomas Sowell's going to sum up their entire party. You know, D- for Biden. And by default, the entire Democratic Party. I mean, he gives into Russia. He fucks over the Ukraine with this pipeline. And Russia still has Europe by the balls. Because they could turn it off. They promised not to. Like you said right there, they promised not to turn off the gas to Germany. But they could do that at any time. You know, we're getting 1,000 illegal aliens into this country every day. Fentanyl has gone up. What does that say? 80%. Fentanyl. Look that up. Very little fentanyl can kill a lot of people, man. And it's just flowing across our border. It's coming in from China. COVID and fentanyl. Thanks, China. Thanks. And Biden's just letting it in. Because when you're allowing people to just stream across the border, who's to say they're not coming across with stuff? That's what people don't get. You want to make it like, oh, I'm for tough border control because I don't like Hispanics. Bullshit. I have zero problems with that. I even have zero problems with the ones that do come in illegally. A lot of them are just here to work hard, man. The ones that I've met, the ones that I know, I have no problem with them. I'm worried about the fentanyl, the fake prescription medication, guns, gangs. kidnapping, human trafficking. That's what's sacrificed on the altar of open borders. The safety of grandmothers, of mothers, of daughters, sons, fathers. We're all at risk from things like fentanyl. You don't know where it'll end up. It doesn't take much to kill, okay? Look that up. Put me to the test. Put me to the test. All right? Fentanyl is a damn scourge. And it's flowing across the border because of soft politics. These politicians who just are placators. Placating the radical left. You know, what else did he do? Oh, yeah, his unemployment schemes not working. People not going back to work. And then he's worried about banning 9mm handguns. Cheap, efficient handguns. For people to protect themselves. The problem isn't the gun. The problem is the people who have them. The people who have them illegally. But what are we doing about that? Why are we not making possession of an unregistered handgun far more risky for people? They should have laws in this country where people think twice about stealing a gun because of the weight that it carries. But no, here in LA, Democrat paradise, we have a DA, Gascon, a rich little elitist who won't even prosecute gun crimes. He won't allow that to be amended onto a charge. So what the fuck are they doing, man? What are they doing? It's just pomp and circumstance. They're never trying to solve anything. But look, I'm one of these people. 70 million pissed off Republicans. 0 cities destroyed. They're placating the people who destroyed the cities over 1 or 2 or 3 cases of police brutality. We have a country that some of us feel may have had a stolen election. May. I say may. There's no proof. It's over and done with. We're stuck with Biden. But what's he doing? Nothing. Nothing. Are they trying to earn back the trust of the American people? Are they trying to earn back the trust or earn the trust of the people who voted for them? No, they're just shitting all over the place. Because they don't care. They don't care. To get kids interested in the vaccine, Biden holds photo op with teen pop sensation Hanson. Of course, that's not true, but that's how out of touch they are. Because they don't care, man. Here's another little spot where they don't care. We went from no Happy Meals, BMIs, and so-called fat tax to no fat shaming, body positivity, and obesity is healthy. Despite the fact that obesity is the leading cause of hospitalization and death from COVID. Here's some stats on it. I'm not going to read them, okay? Because again, this is the fantasy. This is the fantasy that the left and then the media, you know they're together, by the way. You know, and you can look this up, and this goes for channels on both sides of the fence. They get you to subscribe to a newsletter. They sell your email to a politician, or they offer to cold call people on behalf of the politician for donations to campaigns. Then the news agency, the media, puts out a story that's hyperbolic. And then the politician says, hey, I'm the guy who could solve this, send me money. That's what they do. They do it on both sides. It's turning into just a huge thing. A huge, scummy thing. And that's why they're keeping the fear up. But they're not telling us the truth. They're not telling us that obesity beyond age is the absolute highest comorbidity of anything dealing with COVID. Okay? You're better off being a smoker. You're better off having heart disease. You're better off having lots of other things. But obesity, overweight or obese, 78%. Almost 8 out of 10 people in a hospital or that die are overweight or obese. But we don't do anything about it anymore. Instead of fixing the national health crisis, instead of figuring out a way to get people to eat healthy, to be able to afford to eat healthy, our government, with the help of their little shill, the propaganda machine known as the mainstream media on both sides of the fence, decided that instead of taking the hard route and trying to make America healthy, what they would do is just make fat acceptable. And I'm not saying people need to be shamed, but this isn't working, okay? It's not working. I'm glad those people are happy, but they're not healthy. And they're the ones at risk. We're running around, we're wondering about masks and calling each other names and fighting over who's going to die first, the vaccinated or the unvaccinated. And meanwhile, the real problem is obesity. And it's worldwide. You can see right there. We're talking about England on top there. The countries with the higher obesity rates have the higher death rates. Okay? Your body's already under strain. Inflammation, all of that kind of crap, man. And now, we're now at a point, like we knew we were coming on it, folks. I've been preaching this for a while now. You know, I brought it to light back in the when the vaccine first hit, that insurance companies were going to start making it mandatory. Well, here it is. People have now been let go from their jobs. You see, that's the world that the Democrats, that this liberal, laid-back, fucking stupid-ass way of thinking has gotten us. We are now paying people to not take jobs, and when they do take a job, they can get fired for not getting a vaccine. This is cuckoo, man. This is cuckoo. But nobody's going to approach it with common sense. You know, I don't know what the answer is on this one. I'm vaccinated. I don't, you know, whatever. I don't like taking the risk, but I saw the writing on the wall and I knew I'd need it. So, you know, I already have it. Boom, done. It's over with. Here's my papers, Herr Commandant. You know, and we were talking about calling people names and stuff. And, you know, one of the guys that I see a lot of this Brooklyn dad dickhead, Defiant here, you know, he tweets this out back in September of 2020. Raise your hand if you would never trust a vaccine pushed by a bleach injection, snake oil selling con man. Then, in July of this year, fully vaxxed and relaxed. Here's another one right here. You know, we don't have that herd mentality of which you spoke. So, no, we won't be taking any vaccine injections that are promoted by Mr. Bleach. So his hatred of Trump was such that he wasn't going to take it. But, you know, a year later, parents don't let your children grow up to be an anti-vaxxer idiot like Rand Paul. See, there's no conviction there, man. There's no conviction. I said I would take the vaccine when it was available. I took the vaccine, man. I don't care. I don't care which party was involved. It doesn't matter to me. It ain't no triumph. Any president would have warp speeded a vaccine. I would have. You would have. Larry Elder would have. Lots of smart people would have. It had to be done. But everything's so politicized now. Nobody knows who to trust, you know? So this one really caught my attention. Foothill Transit in Los Angeles. That would be what I would use. One of their battery-operated buses had a thermal event. I deal in systems that use batteries, and if those batteries get hot, they swell and they burst. Batteries aren't going to do well in Arizona and California and Texas and some of these other hot-ass places, man. And they're expensive to repair, so now they're sitting there. See, the Green Deal, it doesn't work. Why don't we make better buses, you know, that were more fuel efficient? Run them on something like ethanol, natural gas, something generated, because, you know, we can generate natural gas out of things like landfills. But no, we wanted to go green, and now they're bursting in flame, and they have a whole bunch of them because they're too expensive. Here's a little, you know, Bronco always features. He's on vacation right now, but he did leave us a good one. You know, DOG suing Georgia. See, it's all show, man. There's nothing illegal that Georgia did in their voting laws. There's nothing. Put it in the comments below. You know, if somebody sees this sometime, tell me what I'm missing, because I don't see anything illegal in what they're doing. I don't see anything suppressive about what they're doing. But, you know, they're going to lose, and they knew they would. But earlier I said we were going to end with Thomas Sowell. Not entirely true. There's a few more to go. But this really sums up what's going on. When people want the impossible, only liars can satisfy. What does he mean by that? If you want something like, say, we're talking about the Green Deal, and it's never going to work, then only the people who lie about it are ever going to give you the answer. Because the people who tell you the truth, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you that your butterfly dream will not work. They will tell you that life is tough and sometimes you have to toughen up. No, that's not the Democrats. Do you really think, I mean, when you look at a statement like this, when people want the impossible, only liars can satisfy. Do you honestly think that applies to Republicans more than it does to the Democrats? I mean, that's kind of the question that I would ask. You know? I would ask that if I was watching this and I was a leftist, or I was on the left, or I was in the middle of the left, or, you know, somewhat moderate or whatever. Because climate change is controlled by the planet and the solar system, namely the sun and our tilt and our rotations and our wobbles. Okay, I'm just some dude in a bunker, man. I get that, but look it up. The Sahara Desert used to be a jungle. That's why things happened in previous histories. Different wobbles, different angles on the sun, different rotations. Nothing about the way we go around that burning ball we call the sun is rigid. What I mean is it's flexible. It changes. Sometimes our days are longer. Sometimes our years are longer. Sometimes our rotations are different. Sometimes our angles are different. We're spinning as we're spinning. So if our angle changes, but clean up the fucking planet. But that's why we need to talk about things like nuclear energy. See, because we can't stop anything that Mother Nature throws at us. Only the liars will tell you that we can. See, that's the thing. If you're asking for the impossible, the only answer you can get is going to be a lie because it's impossible. You know, and Dan Crenshaw was bringing this up in response to Bernie Sanders. You know, Bernie Sanders really cares about climate change, but it's more of a political tool. Because he probably knows, too, that a lot of what's going on right now is the way it works. There's a reason why, like, when they say that we broke heat records, they were heat records from 100 years ago. Because 100 years ago, our rotations, our wobbles, our angles were different. I don't know how else to spell it. I mean, I know we have done some shitty things to the environment. We need to clean up our act. And we need to stop, like, chopping down rainforests all over the place. And we can't pollute our ocean. But why don't we work on that instead of the fantasy of windmills and solar and electric cars? You know, we should have nuclear reactors here in California. We should have nuclear power wherever it's needed. It works. It's clean. It is. Yes, it creates toxic waste, but we can figure that out, man. We're humans, dude. We know how to do this shit. But we can't lie about it. And speaking of lies, this is what I want to get out. Pelosi was not in charge of the Capitol Police, okay? They all had a part in what happened there, okay? They all had the power to do something about it. They were understaffed and underprepared. But again, it's just a shit show. Because the real reality is that more voters want Congress to investigate the riots than the January 6th riot. Because we know what happened at the January 6th riot. Okay? Fix the shit that got broken, you know, and come clean about what actually happened that led to a woman being shot. Okay? But no, see, they don't care about us. They care about them. All right? They are investigating the January 6th riot because they need to blame Republicans because they need to hold on to power. Because all we have seen since Biden and the Democrats seized control, legitimately or doesn't matter to me. They seized control. They have control now. It has been a shit show. I don't see where anyone can make the argument that it has not been a shit show. since day one of the Biden Democrat reign. Okay? No, I don't see anything good. Okay? Charlie from sunny in Philadelphia. American leftists trying to explain how Cuba is only failing because communists aren't allowed to trade with their evil capitalists. You see? That's what I mean. You want the impossible, so only liars will satisfy. They're asserting that Trump's embargo on Cuba is what is causing the whole system to fail. Really? Okay. They are a communist regime. They are a brutal regime. And people are fed up with it. The embargo, while hurting the civilians, also hurts the government. Okay? It keeps people mad. Like I said last week, let's just invade and make them a territory. Then there'll be plenty of food and plenty of goodies to go around. Because that's what we do. That's the truth. Okay? You want world peace? People are going to lie to you and tell you it can happen. It's not going to happen. It's a shitty world out there. But your president, and I'm talking directly at these Democrats now, your president has shit all over Hong Kong, Ukraine, and Cuba, and other places too. All because he's selling you a lie. What you are asking for is impossible. Unicorns will never fart rainbows because they don't exist. And if somebody tells you they do, they're lying. And probably a politician. Copious, out. Be good to yourselves. Be good to everyone around you.